I'm going to give an overview of our contribution to CYQCI. The first thing I'll do is show the Cyprus Consortium. So the local coordinator is the Cyprus University of Technology. We're supported by SIDA, the Digital Security Agency, and the Department of Electronic Communications. And of course, we have to acknowledge the funding from the European Union, from the Republic of Cyprus, and from our university that supports all these activities. So we have actually two aspects to this project. One is terrestrial, and one is satellite-based, so regards the optical ground station. So we first need to deploy a local backbone, and this has to be a secure quantum optical fiber network in order to connect between the university, so that's CUT in Limassol, to the CYOGS at Kagoraja, and then finally to the SOC in Nicosia. So that's part of the DSA. And you know, the purpose of all this technology and these kind of projects is to ensure secure, and then we give a list of things. Now, some of these things on this list do not pertain directly to CYQCI because that's an implementation project. But we have to consider that what's required to have a sustainable ecosystem in Cyprus means that you have to have, and you have to offer intra-government quantum security. You should be offering cybersecurity crisis management centers. You should be offering critical infrastructure protection. So this infrastructure protection can be either defense-based or civilian-based. And of course, you need to have research and education, because if you don't train people to actually use this technology, then it will quickly die out. And of course, protect data storage and retrieval. So you can see, let's see if I can, I'm not sure this is really working here. I can't seem to get a laser pointer, but regardless, no, it's fine, it's fine. So you can see that this is our backbone for the Cyprus project. But of course, this has to be used in conjunction with the optical ground station. So, okay, we put on this pretty obvious, I think, situation which describes our problem. Cyprus is located in the Eastern Mediterranean. We have interesting neighbors, both north, south, and to the east of us. And one has to consider that their political situation can indirectly and possibly directly affect our national security. So the idea of having a secure communications network with the rest of Europe is particularly important to us. But one of the things you do see is that you can't really rely on a fiber network because you simply don't have the capability at this moment in time of deploying a quantum network. And these distances are as the crow flies. So if you consider, if you were to actually deploy a subsea cable from Cyprus to wherever, then these lengths increase by maybe 30%. Of course, the nearest neighbor to the north is the neighbor that we're most aware of and we have issues with. So as an overview, where do we fit within the CYQCI project, where you see Cyprus on the bottom right there? And of course, the scope and purpose of the project is to connect to Greece using the OGS, and then via Greece we connect to Bulgaria. But then we have a direct connection with the Netherlands, again, via use of the OGS. So this basically means then that we will deploy essentially 4 end nodes within Cyprus, of which we will also have 4 trusted nodes, 3 physical fiber links, and we need to be Eagle 1 compliant if ever Eagle 1 flies. Currently, we hear it's December of 2026. Regardless, we will move along with our development, which requires adaptive optical systems, with QKD capabilities, and single photon detectors. And so our demonstrations will be with the Elmos OGS, Holomondas OGS, and Nordvig OGS in the Netherlands. And as far as our secured fiber links, we will connect to Nicosia, which means connecting to a government network that we're developing within CYQCI. the national SOC, so that's part of the DSA, and the government end users are the Ministry of Defense, NSA, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and the Presidential Palace. So everything has to eventually end up at the Presidential Palace. And then from Limassol, we will be controlling the situation with the National Quantum Network Management Center. And then we will have end-to-end services which will connect the different SOCs from Cyprus to Greece, to Bulgaria. I think one of the things that the outcomes of this project and what we will get for this project, essentially twofold. One is we will see a technology evolve in a small island nation which has currently not existed. And possibly the second most important aspect of this, well, I think the most important aspect of this, is that we also change Cyprus's position, at least geopolitically. So we have a geographical position which is in the Eastern Mediterranean, but this kind of project actually shifts us from the periphery of Europe towards the center of Europe as far as secure communications are concerned. Okay, so I don't really have much more to say. If there are any questions, feel free to ask. But this is all I need to say for now. Thank you.